All right. So audio looks good. So we're gonna get into this. Digi State thing.
All right, in 3, 2.
Hey!
What the fuck is up, YouTube? Another day, another beautiful
Day. It's a beautiful day.
breath of life.
Yeah. The
Can't
breath
complain.
of life.
Still living.
Hey, we're here. We're alive. We're lucky to be in the United States of America.
Not that anyone asked, but we're giving you that information because we want to.
Yeah. It's where we're at.
So today on trending topics.
Well, yeah. I don't know what's trending.
This was your job.
This was my job. This was my job. I could definitely tell you what I've been consuming online a lot lately. I've definitely been doing a lot of looking at a lot of Carl Jung, battle bots, Warhammer 40K, and then Hollow Moon stuff, because you know how much I love that. And what else have I been consuming? Oh, DIGI STATE. I've been watching some DIGI STATE.
Yeah,
You
love
should
DIGI
check it
STATE.
out. But
It's so funny that we stuck with the name DIGI STATE because originally it was because we were buying metaverse property.
yeah,
And I was like, yo. And then we ended up creating this, which ended up being, this was supposed to be a crypto channel.
I mean, it
Kind of.
It
and then
kind of is. It kind of is.
It's a little of everything.
Yeah.
We were really talking about some newsroom shit where it was today on the crypto dollar.
Well, I mean, in the digi, in the realm of digital real estate, dude. Roblox, bro.
I'm waiting for them to open their first land sale.
If Roblox does full conversion into blockchain technology, which they're saying they're gonna do.
I'm buying land.
Oh my!
I'm buying land. I already, that's so when I first bought land on Sandbox, I was walking around I own DIGI STATE, I own this, and then both of us were wait a second. But I'm telling you right now, Roblox, I think, is going to outshit Sandbox, or shit out whichever terminology you'd like to use. Sandbox is not looking good right now.
So how many millions of people do you think are involved in crypto as a whole right now? 4, 5, 6?
I don't even think it's that much compared to I think it is. I think a lot of the youth are jumping in this, but really in crypto, not just hodling coins on Coinbase. Not that many
even that
per blockchain right now. I
Even
think
that.
Ethereum is the most poppin' blockchain.
I think there's a few million people invested in crypto right now.
Yeah, that's nothing.
So I think it's 4 to 6% of the investment base. Of people who are investing, it's a small percentage of the people who are investing.
Well, this is going to change completely because
So-
it's not even just investors. Now children
Right.
are going to be
Roblox.
obtaining this. This is crazy. Roblox, if you're watching this, please give us a whitelist for a free NFT.
Yep.
We'll put our
Just-
wallet addresses right down
Just
here below.
10 of them, that's all. That's all.
I'll be good with one.
Just
Just give me one in the center.
10. Well, so, if you offer them one, then they have two options, one or none. If I offer them 10, they can give me 10, they can give me 9, they can give me 8, 7,
Or none.
6, 5. Yeah, all
There's
the way
way more
down.
options.
Yeah, way more options. If it's a multiple choice, I'm giving them lots of choices that are good.
Roblox has the infrastructure.
Dude, they have 125 million days.
They were the metaverse before metaverse came out. They were the people who perfected the metaverse.
They made the
Before
template, the
metaverse.
construct. The construct for the metaverse is definitely Roblox created.
Yeah. Because the idea was out there. Within World of Warcraft, MMORPGs.
The idea is there, but the efficiency of taking items
And the ecosystem.
leveling them up, making them have scarcity,
The rarity, quality,
and
all
then
that.
and then creating a bunch of currencies that you
And utility on it as well.
And different games in Roblox have different currencies, and then there's the overall Robuck, which is the big currency. But in games they have diamonds or horseshoes or whatever the hell it is in each game. They're it's all different creators, and they don't even make games. It's people make games. It's literally what the metaverse is, but it's completely centralized. And the reality of it is,
they're probably going to stick to centralization until they get pushed really heavy. Because people are going to run for decentralization no matter what.
I think
after a certain time.
at least making it blockchain makes it less decentralized than it is now. You know what I mean? It does.
Less decentralized?
less centralized.
There we go.
Because the thing is, if these cryptos can be shifted on the open market, no matter what, even if you're censored on that platform, you could still at least move your NFTs and your Robux or whatever on different platforms, right? And like move it in the open market as an asset. So I think it decentralizes it more, which is a good thing.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Like
there's a balance needed.
Me and you've had this discussion before about businesses, but decentralizing public spaces is imperative to freedom, but to a business being successful, it has to have a certain level of centralization for it to have the ability to make moves, right? So like,
because it does have chaos if there's so many ideas just running.
Right.
Everyone's playing with it.
Like
obviously.
if you open DAO Corporation, like I'm telling you, it's going to go under.
I think DAO, I'm going to be real with you, is going to come up. It's in the beginning stages right now where it's fixing its ecosystem correctly and it's making it right, because not all DAOs are completely decentralized in general.
Right. I think like if you're talking about like the DAO actually governing what the corporation does, not just DAOs getting to vote on things the corporation says they could vote on, right? But if it's like every choice is made by the DAO, that shit ain't gonna work, because the bigger group of people, the dumber they get.
Well, it's not. It wouldn't work, but it's so many things would happen. Like it would be like, hey guys, we're all pushing towards this one thing, and before that one thing can be finished, hey guys, we're pushing towards something else.
Hey,
And then,
16-year-old Malaysian kid, you should definitely tell us what to do
with our money.
Yeah.
Well,
so,
no, a lot of DAOs that I've seen for the most part have
they
a
get
good
to
little
vote
voting
on
system.
stuff. Yeah.
But obviously, the majority of the DAO shareholders, usually the people who created it or the cryptocurrency that runs it, it's its own ecosystem. Right now, what I see, what's happening with DAO is similar to what happened with blockchain a long time ago. Bitcoin came out. Obviously, it had its flaws. Every financial thing has its flaws, but this was the closest they got in it. People ran with an idea. Ethereum ran with a utility idea for a blockchain. So many other blockchains are.
I would say they ran with their biggest tenants, at least as far as what's his name, Vitalik Buterin says. From what I've said, he's really, his big focuses are decentralization, transactions not being editable, like you can't stop a transaction because you don't like someone. He calls that censorship, basically. Like being uncensorable, being decentralized, and actually functioning, right? Like actually being able to carry the weight. Now the actual functioning, well, Ethereum 1 is struggling to function.
Was just looking up Ethereum 2, by the way, and when it's going to launch. And fuck.
Is it launched?
No, it hasn't launched. Okay, so what we know from Ethereum, obviously, if you guys are like long-time holders and have been playing in this game, there's always a prediction, and that prediction always surpasses it. They definitely do meet what they need to, and it's for a point, like what we were just saying, because of the decentralization, and it takes a lot of people to vote yes on the different, like changing from proof of stake to.
Well, they don't have to. Like, so in the model that he has, because they couldn't get the old school miners, he couldn't get all of them to want to say, hey, no, I'm going to do proof of stake instead of just the mining. So those people are going to be the archivists, which is Ethereum 1, essentially. And Ethereum 2 is like the expansion of that. And then Ethereum 2 is just going to be proof of stake, and it's going to use nodes. So it doesn't have to verify with the entire blockchain. It only has to verify with the active part of the blockchain, right? And that way it stays really light and the code stays really short. And then they're also sharding it. Like the sharding and all that stuff, it's going to be progressive. Like I think Ethereum 2 is going to come out and it's going to have mass improvements. But I think it's also going to continue to do that and continue to improve for years. Like, because they had like a 5-year projection of all the things they're going to do. So I don't think layer 2 is going to be completely done. But layer 2 is created in a way.
But there are things getting done in layer 2.
Right.
And it's been little by little from sharding. So it's funny.
Sharding, noding, you know what I mean? Like the new way to carry the new algorithm.
Supposedly Ethereum 2 is going to be called Serenity.
No.
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah, Ether is out the fucking window.
That's nuts. Why wouldn't you just
I
call
have
it?
Ethereum 2.0.
Yeah, why
I have no
wouldn't you
idea.
just call it
I was just researching this right now.
I mean, I think the
That's
market
first
is
time
going to
hearing it.
dictate what it's really going to be called. I think the market's just going to call
Are they
it.
though?
Yeah. I think if everybody just calls it ETH2, eventually they'll break. That's like the
Everyone
whole Meta
calls
thing.
Shiba Inu Shib.
Yeah. Is
Still
anybody
not.
calling Facebook Meta right now? Nope. It's Facebook.
Yeah, I mean, rebranding is super difficult for a company in general. It is a lot. Yeah, it can fail very easily
That
when
was
you're
a fail.
rebranding. So I don't know.
Meta was a fail.
Oh, Meta? Yeah.
That
Meta,
was a
well, honestly, okay, jumping completely off. I mean, it kind of jumps into that ecosystem too with the metaverse and everything, but I think that Mark Zuckerberg just projected the wrong future. He thought VR and virtual reality was going to be it. He put all his money into that, and
I mean,
a
his
lot of people-
Oculuses did well.
That's fine, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of problems with the Oculus because the thing is, again, we've talked about this, and convenience is everything. And when you can have things seamless and not so interfering with your day-to-day life, I think that it's going to end up being way more successful. And the Oculus 2, people are
The
getting
Oculus 2
huge
is-
complaints about wearing it for over like a few hours where they're having horrible pains on the side here. Like augmented reality, even Mark Zuckerberg, I think, was just on Joe
Augmented
Rogan's
reality
challenge.
is the only thing that's feasible.
Mm-hmm. And so he put billions of dollars into, because Facebook had so this is what's crazy that I think happened. Facebook had this thing that came up and they saw, I mean, obviously they saw the future. They saw the metaverse was emerging. And when they saw the metaverse was emerging, they're like, we need to be the first ones to run on this. And they dropped all their money on this. But what they didn't realize is Facebook is already losing, well, they did realize that they were already losing power, and this is why they rebranded into a metaverse structure. But what they didn't realize is that they bet on the wrong horse. Like they said, hey, we can't give you the metaverse, but you know what we will do? We'll give you access to the metaverse through our hardware. And their hardware was a flop.
I don't think it's
VR, it's going to be a huge flop, Chris. I don't like, and
They sold
just like
so
you
many
predicted,
units.
that's fine to me. Fuck that, because you know what else was sold like a motherfucker? The Ray-Ban Snapchat glasses, and that shit is bullshit.
Oh yeah.
So was Google Glasses. These are all just test trials.
I mean, it's all just a it's a techno gimmick. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
there's a lot of that, but I mean, if you move units and your profit margin's high, you make money.
You're making money. Yeah,
Yeah.
but there's a difference in making money and staying in the game. Now these people I think he
Still
shot
cash
himself in the
out.
foot.
I think he's trying to cash out. I think he's gonna walk away from it eventually.
Well, yeah, you have to think, because like even when he was talking on Joe Rogan, he was like admitting how the FBI was just pressuring him with the election
Leaning
results,
on that.
with like doing all this
Everything
kind of
with
stuff.
posts, every other post, the FBI was like, no, that's Russian disinformation. You got to pull it. It's
Yeah, and so
spies.
like once you're starting to get micromanaged so much in your own company, it's almost impossible to make profit, because at that point you're not giving a
right,
fuck what the
because
user
they'll regulate
does.
him to death.
Yeah.
Remember what I was talking about on the last episode, which you guys should go check out the last episode. On the last episode, I was talking about when you agree with a lie for so long, then getting out of it becomes way worse.
Yeah.
So what happened was he was like, oh, well, I'm not going to look into this and I'm just going to agree with you guys. And after he's agreed with them so many times, and he went down that woke road so many times, now getting out, they're already so embedded in your shit, bro. Like, there's no getting out.
Twitter was hugely pushed. Twitter was like pushed.
But they loved it.
I guess a few
Because
left and right.
Twitter is definitely funding their own fake accounts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't think that, I mean, Twitter had like the previous owner didn't come out saying anything, but like you see like what happened with
From
Facebook.
what I can tell,
you don't
he got
think that-
railroaded.
Exactly.
He got railroaded.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Like you don't think another outside source did like their own?
I think in those situations you cash out when you can, like when it's an opportune moment to cash out, and then that's what you got to set up your moment to cash out. Your moment to cash out has to already have contracts that allows you to go back into the same field and all that shit, like because your shit's gonna get taken over. Like ultimately, it's a big club, and if you're not in it, you may get rich, but you're not gonna get to run this shit. Right?
Yeah, 100%.
So the
A big motherfucking club.
yeah,
Neo-capitalist club.
yeah, yeah.
Let's do some crony capitalism. How do
just-
you do it? Buy him out. And if not, send his nudes and Photoshop him with
Or just make every person that they hire for their board one of the club.
an operative.
Yeah, and then stocks. When you go public, Once you go public, it is
PR.
it is what it. No, once you go as like a public traded stock, it is what it is. Now you have different rules you got to play by.
Mm-hmm.
So like like for me in a company, if I were to go public, I would definitely cash out enough of my own share to where if I walked away, I'd be fine. Like if I walked away, it's okay. Okay, I got everything I need out of this, and I can walk away. Especially if I get took over, you know what I'm saying? If it doesn't get took over, why not? Keep running it, But if it does, like,
there you go.
you gotta learn when to walk away.
It's kind of what we were talking about earlier with the DAO too. There's so many people involved at that point that it becomes chaos.
Right.
Yeah, there's a level of balance.
And I think like people have roles in businesses, and there's a point where it's better just to kind of walk away. I think the original owner of Twitter, Jack Dorsey, I think he got railroaded out, and he kind of had to walk away. You know what I mean? I mean, he's still part of it in a way, but he knows that's not.
I mean, Twitter just got ruined.
Oh,
Twitter got
terrible.
so ruined and dragged by all the bots they were doing, and but that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't think why would you personally ruin your own brand? He was definitely pushed by an outside source to do this kind of propaganda, I guess. Because everywhere, like as soon as Jack Dorsey left and Elon took over, many bots.
I don't even know if Elon has taken over yet.
Oh, he hasn't? So what I was reading is when that whole change.
I think they're in all types of legal. There's a lot
battles
of
right now.
I think there's a lot of court stuff going on with them.
The kings are battling for the throne.
Yeah. I think like I would like to see a lot more billionaires that aren't in the club to come up. I would love to see that because ultimately, once you get so big, you can't, when there's so much money involved, you got to kind of fight money with money.
I don't want to see billionaires. I don't want to see anything that has to do with fiat currency. There's more fiat currency than those billionaires are going to turn into trillionaires. There'll be more billionaires, just like there's more youth that are millionaire right now. Fuck that. I'm talking blockchain forever.
Yeah, but blockchain still makes billionaires the same way. Still makes trillionaires.
Yeah, but yes, but not in dollar, not in fiat currency.
The thing is, what I would like to see is
it's actually going to be such a different thing in blockchain because you'll have 100 ETH and be like fucking up there.
Because one side of the spectrum believes what you do is you just take all their money away from them and then none of them have power anymore. And that always leads to communism.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah, so I was just going to say the only pro-capitalist way I could think of it is, hey, I hope a bunch of like red blood Americans
beat them up fair and square.
Yeah, become billionaires and push back and be like, yeah, I got money too, and this guy from the World Economic Forum is a fucking devil. Like just call it what it is. Right.
Klaus Schwab, we're talking about you, boy.
Yeah, there needs to be like 10 more Elons. You need like 10 more Elons like right now.
So I think that we're not even being shown who the real billionaires and richest men are in the world. Especially with blockchain. Like this skinny little motherfucker has to have more money than half of these fucks.
Oh yeah. Look, this ultimately the sovereigns, the king class humans that on last episode of Digi State we talked about a little bit.
They're lower tier.
No, the sovereigns,
the kings
you're not allowed to know how much money they have. First of all, sovereigns, like world law, you're not allowed to know how much they have. Period. They're never allowed to pay a tax, ever, because that would make them non-sovereign. Like, so you're talking about wealth that's like, bro.
Beyond that.
Like, trillions and trillions and trillions. Like, all the gold from Brazil.
Double that.
Yeah, it's just... Elon had actually talked about it in an interview. He was like, yeah, I'm maybe the richest non-sovereign, but sovereigns are crazy. He talked about what's his name? I actually want to talk about the thing you were saying too, with the head of Russia, Putin, right? He's like, Putin is worth like 1.4 trillion a year for decades. Like, and he's not the richest sovereigns. Like, you know what I mean? And he's not. Dude, the crown of England, they're sovereign. We don't know how much they have. Dude,
But I again, like, even speaking on that, I still think that's a lower tier. Because I think, like, if you see politicians, especially here in this country anyways, they're just copying word for word and action for action. The way they make money is through war, disaster, like
Right.
all
But
these
even those
fucking-
companies aren't evaluating higher than Tesla right now. Like, the thing is, like, there's a... Okay. So the goldsmiths, they became the bankers, right?
Mhm.
The bankers, started 500 years ago getting knighted and married into sovereign bloodlines. Why? Because that made it to where you couldn't know how much they have. So there's a lot of like dukes and sirs and things like that.
Said Duke a lot.
Yeah.
Come here.
Yeah, there's a lot of sirs and dukes and madams
Caesar.
and all that that are involved in the banking families. And those people, dude, they got all of
Well,
that.
that's what I'm saying. Like even the bankers, like if you mess around with forex, like I think when Macron and Le Pen's were fighting it out, you knew who was going to win because the Rockefellers were backing up a specific one of them was just part of that banking system as a kid.
Yeah.
And made them so much money. And he was like, right, and now he's talking about capitalism doesn't work anymore. We need neo-capitalism, which is crony capitalism, socialism, communism, same word.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, it's just all under a new guise.
Neo-fascism really is what it is.
Neo-fascism.
Really.
So funny. You know what? All these words, it's none of that. What it is, it's evil.
Surely.
That's the word.
Surely. But it's a more
taking power
descriptive.
away from people for sure.
Yeah, well...
It's just a different kind of
people
evil.
have had so little power over the history of mankind. Like, don't get me wrong, we're all infinite beings, and I definitely believe, Jesus said, we'll do greater things, and we all have the capability to really, really become a superhuman. I definitely believe that. But as far as people having power, this is brand new, bro.
People
5%.
just started owning estates as soon as the Anglo-Americans came into play.
Yeah,
And that's why we fought so hard to not get taxed for our shit.
The United States is the first version of some type of freedom.
Even that took a downhill turn, though.
Oh,
there's things that went up. Don't get me wrong. We discussed it in the last podcast. But there's things that went down, like what you were discussing also in the last podcast. There's not that many people who own homes anymore.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been tricked.
Acres.
People have been tricked into
Acres.
believing that fiat currency is your wealth. And what they don't understand is when you work for money, you will always be working for money. You need to work for something that creates wealth, not for something that creates money. And assets are the only thing. And we've been tricked, and time is kind of an asset in a way because it's something that's not obtainable anymore.
And it's finite.
And
It's very
very
finite.
limited.
Yes, it is.
That's going to be when people get perfection done, that's going to be the currency.
Yeah.
He's gonna be walking around with Justin Timberlake in that fucking movie and just
Yeah, I definitely. I mean, doctors are saying the first people who live to be 150 are alive now. So
I heard that as well.
I think if you have the bread,
And also not the first people. We have evidence of people living way.
But I'm talking about in the modern age.
In the modern age, for sure.
Yeah. So and I
took
think
a plummet. If you think about it, the way that society is just running is just like, hey, do you guys like poison? Drink it anyways.
yeah, there's too many of y'all because
Here's some
there's
McDonald's.
enough of y'all to where when you get in a group, we're worried about you coming in our castle. So there you go.
Well, that's where the distractions came about, like the sports and the gladiators, and then it also became a thing about separating the masses into different
The
ideologies.
thing we got to understand too, as regular people, dude, the ruling class has been studying the ruling class for thousands of years, and their psychology on managing human consciousness is very good. Not as in it's noble, but as in they're good at that shit.
I mean, just in today's modern day,
I mean,
you
they're
can see
better
what
at
happened
it
with Sigmund
now.
Freud. You can see how the government got involved, and you can see how they were doing group experiments on, and even the CIA and the FBI were doing group experiments on the American people.
Freud was a very interesting dude. He had some very, very good insights, but if you look at his practices in his life, he was not a noble person. You know what I mean? At all. He didn't believe that humanity had the ability.
He thought in a very logical group way. This is how you react. This is it. It's 1, 1, 2.
Right.
There's no. It's black and gray.
So his rival is Or
is it 3?
you call him his rival, but his contemporary at his time, right? Young, right? I think Young had a far more positive outlook on it, and he also was completely in the camp that you could integrate your problems and actually become dope. And like he was fully in the camp that you can heal these things that Freud is pointing out. Like Freud was pointing out, like the consuming mother, right? Like
Freud was more about manipulation and crowd control.
I mean, I think he made a lot of good observations. I just don't think he had a lot of good answers for what to do with it.
Yeah.
I think his observations were solid. I think he didn't go to the other side of the coin and say, well, how do we heal this and integrate it? I think he was more about sedate it or satiate it or deny it.
Yeah.
Right? Where Jung was like, well, maybe like you should do some meditation. Maybe you should seek enlightenment. Maybe you should integrate your shadow self into your real self. Maybe you should heal your child.
It's crazy who was put in the front.
Well, Jung is now,
world.
at this point now, the time has passed, like a lot of Jungian stuff became neuroscience. Like, and neuroscience is a very broad subject. There's some people that are just focused on photographing a neuron, and then there's other people that are focused on, like, how do we rewrite how our brain works? And so, like, I think Jung evolved into basically neuroscience in a big way. I think he expanded out. And I think right now, there's a lot of Jungian stuff being pushed, and I'm really happy about it. I think, like, people like Jordan Peterson, I think, man, that dude's doing God's work, bro. Like, he's really, really pushing that shit out for people to develop themselves mentally.
And he has a logical way of speaking that just makes sense when you talk.
He's really
when
smart.
you hear him talking. It's actually really nice to listen to.
I mean, if he walked in this room, we would have to feel
Very
like
well
monkeys.
spoken.
Like, if we don't feel like when we speak to him, if it
Stick fire.
yeah, like if we don't feel like that when we're talking to him,
Speaking.
we're some arrogant motherfuckers. Because that guy's way smarter than us, bro.
Yeah.
We shoot from our gut. We
He
got
knows how
good
to-
instincts, but dude,
People like that.
guy's
People like that are really well spoken. Know how to talk to the crowd.
He's also got he's got the credentials too. Like he's got like years of practice, years of therapy with people, like really doing the grinding, all the professor shit. Like he is like the academic for sure. That's the guy. You know what I mean? So that dude's smart, bro. Like he's up there. There's certain people that I think are smart. That are like, we just not even bother trying to be that smart. We should just stay in our lane, and just like, you know what?
I don't think that we shouldn't bother. Every day we're growing. Every day we're like
For sure.
getting better. I mean, we shouldn't ever compare ourselves to other people. Everyone's on their own journey, but like obviously.
Yeah, but to be like somebody in his position, early in his life, he figured out how to become a doctor, right? Like that requires a level of IQ type intelligence, where it's problem solving type intelligence. That if that got cultured his entire career, dude started off in a really good position. You know what I mean? Like for me, obviously I try to learn shit as much as I can, but I'm more of like an audiobook documentary type of guy. And I'm definitely trying to always add to the pool. But I know senior year of high school, I wasn't getting accepted into med school. It just wasn't. And that wasn't happening. You know what I mean? Like that I just didn't hit that cognitive level on my schoolwork for that to be real. You know what I mean? And some people can say they did, but most people can't. You know what I mean? Like that's somebody, because I've met people like I had this friend, he was a Georgia Tech student, and he was a chemist, and I'm telling you, like math that he did for fun was shit that I would never be able to figure out. And I'm good at math, bro. In college, when I took math, I didn't buy the book, I didn't do any of the homework, and I just took the test. Came in hungover and shit, just did the test, and I passed all my college math classes with a B. You know what I mean? So I'm good at math naturally, but there's levels to this shit. Like certain people, their like cognitive ability when it comes to like academics is super, super high. Like don't get me wrong. If me and Jordan Peterson were walking through the hood in Atlanta, he better cling to me because I'm going to help him get through that. Right? But if me and him were walking through the halls of Yale, I'm going to have to cling to him because that's where his knowledge pool is at. You know what I mean? That's that academic level intelligence. But he's also a great speaker too. I'm sure he's creative as well, but that guy's smart. Like the type of intelligence me and you have, I think is very intuition based. Like we're very like using our
Intuitive?
intuition. Yeah, I don't necessarily think we were meant to be doctors because I think we would have went to med school if that was the case.
We would have wanted to be doctors.
I didn't have the kind of grades where I could have gotten into med school. I don't know what kind of grades you had.
I was actually pretty good at school. I just left it.
No,
I didn't give a fuck about it.
I didn't give a fuck
saw
about
that.
it for
I saw it like at a very young age. I started seeing the system for what it was, and I started realizing there was just a lot of fuckery, a lot in the medical industry, in the school system, and everything was just like. It just the more I got into that future in my head, I started realizing like this was like slavery.
Oh yeah.
And I just wanted to escape that, and I guess that was like the freer version of what I am today.
That's the entrepreneurial.
Like yeah, there we go. That's the word.
Yeah, that's the entrepreneurial.
And so it just became. I think what I really had to learn when I was young, because I didn't want to fall in line with a lot of those things. It wasn't that I wasn't intelligent. Was just living the narrative of like this matrix. Like I learned how to make a lot of money, or not a lot, but like enough to get by, I guess. I knew how to never have to rely and grind like that again. And other than that.
So
Yeah.
I think that's the entrepreneurial story, and I consider you entrepreneurial in general. So but when I look at entrepreneurs, the ones I see that I'm like these people are truly great. You know what I mean? Like they have like three things. They have stress management. They do stress management very well, so tension doesn't bust their pipes. You know what I mean? They have a great intuition. They know when to pull the trigger. Right, and that's just part of that's bam, shooting from the hip. And the last one is discipline. You know, they're very disciplined. You know what I mean? And those are some of the best entrepreneurs. But if we take those three things, they don't necessarily line up with what I would consider an academic. Right? And I think stress management probably works for anybody, but academic is like problem-solving skills, retention of information, ability to articulate. Like that. This is more of like a teacher.
Yeah, I think everything entrepreneurs just has so many different versions of entrepreneurship, and I think like everything needs its own little. But like Kendrick's an entrepreneur. Everything that he's ever done, he's just read up and he just takes.
But he shoots from the head too, like because I've talked to him.
Well, no, he takes information. What he does is he really won't do anything on his own. As far as before he does things, well, the only thing he does on his own is the research. But he'll make sure. I think he learned at a very young age to be like, hey. I'm not going to learn that on my own because I'm going to have a lot of fuck-ups and I can go and take this information from someone else.
Well, one, riding the wave of the market, he's taking in data, but he has a good intuition.
No, but like from everything. Like the man got he's like a licensed AC contractor, real estate agent, and he doesn't even use those. No, but like even the tests, he would actually go to school, ace them all. He has so many licenses under his belt, and it's just because he loves knowledge and information. But he's also an entrepreneur.
The thing is, when it comes to like tech school and certifications for like things like that, like certifications for different types of maintenance and all that stuff, it's a different thing than science. It's a different thing than like what doctors and scientists are doing.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, because like any of that stuff, like I think me and you are on the level to where whatever tech certification we need to get, we could do it. No problem. I mean, I went to art school, so already it's like I've seen people who have different types of certifications, and I also know people that are like certified contractors and all that stuff. Cognitively, I don't think they're
some of the
beating me.
Some of the best people that I know. And by best, like that's a broad term. I mean like people who are doing financially well in their lives, and some people who are millionaires dropped out of school.
Of course, that's the entrepreneurial way.
And they are like like Danny. He owns fucking like contracting companies.
Right. Well, there's
all started off of just small, like you could see it growing the way that they did it.
There is an opposing mindset. So you're run of the mill, and this is not like Jordan Peterson, but the run of the mill. Academic, super high IQ, super good cognitive ability, generally well spoken, well read, but they make a fraction of what entrepreneurs make. And they're mad about it. And that's why so many of them are super left wing, right? They're like, this isn't fair, I'm cognitively smarter, right? But
There definitely is an
The
intuitive thing to this.
Yeah, well, when I say cognitively, I mean literal ability to do long math problems. Like, literally the ability to read a textbook.
But it's not just math. It's being able to point out, and this comes with experience also, but it's being able to point out, like, okay, if these are the actions I'm going to be taking in my life, these are the reactions that can happen. This is what, and a lot of people who don't think that way live so present moment, and I think that we're pushed to live in the present moment, that there's constant fuck-ups. And so, like, even as an entrepreneur, I'm sure that you think...
So in the academic world, it's about not fucking up.
Exactly. So they're constantly thinking about what can happen in the future.
It's all about memorizing the data and having not so much.
I think entrepreneurs do that as well, though, too, because you're so on your end, like you are relying on yourself for everything, that you self-critique yourself so much from the way you move, the way you make money, the way everything you do.
I think entrepreneurs take way more risk and have way more intuition-based decisions.
Well, risk is a must. If you have the right idea, you need that risk. If you're not doing that risk, like there's no pain, no gain, baby. Like you got to take the loss. You know how many companies I've tried setting up before I actually hit one?
Oh, me too.
Thousands of dollars down the drain. Even as a kid, when I was 17 years old, I would have all my money, and all my money was like fucking $2,000, and I would be like hustling for that, and I immediately blow it all and be like, let's start a t-shirt company.
I have started probably like 100 companies, and I've had a handful that existed. But that is the entrepreneurial way.
And it's being willing to get up and get fucking on
keep throwing shit at the wall, bro. Something's gonna stick.
There we go. I've heard that term.
Yeah, keep throwing shit at the wall. Something's gonna stick.
We are monkeys.
Yeah, you gotta grind, bro. Like, when it comes to entrepreneurialism, I don't think that having the right answer is gonna work. I think you need to learn from things. I think...
Yeah, it's a trial and error thing.
Yeah, it's definitely a thing, like, if you don't take the risk, it's not gonna ever happen.
How many times can you beat your head against the wall before you recognize what the real thing is? Some people will just never learn.
Sometimes the wall breaks.
Hasn't broken for me yet. I've gotten a few
concussions. I had one break, and I did it. I ran it to the top of its course, and then I bowed out of it.
So I don't even think, to me though, like, yeah, I get that, but that's not even breaking the wall. To me, breaking the wall would be out of the financial system. Never.
Oh yeah, that's not what I mean. I mean, like, actually having a business go self-sustaining.
I've done my fair share, I think, but I think in all reality, the main goal, and especially, and I know this is true for you as well, out fiat currency. Like, and even if it is fiat currency, like, that's not what we're working for anymore.
The thing is,
we need assets. Just stacking them up.
My highest revenue producing businesses that I've ever done, when it came down to, the fiat was literally in our possession for like 48 hours max. Like, it was literally like fiat came in.
That's something you need.
Asset now.
Yeah.
All of it goes
your
to
asset is the wealth. It's the generation. The cash flow.
Yeah, it's the flow.
And that's what I'm stacking up right now. Like, I'm trying to stack up even more and more and more assets, because I'm starting to realize there comes to a point once you have enough assets that you are free. Yeah. You are really free. And I mean, you can argue what freedom really is. But
hopefully DIGI STATE merch coming soon.
Would this be considered an asset?
This right here, I mean, I guess
like residual income, maybe.
The footage, could be considered residual income, surely.
If it got monetized.
If it hadn't, say we had merch selling or something like that, those are assets now selling, right? As long as they're at a good profit margin, they're an asset. So definitely, I mean, we definitely got to work on our asset pile, but also, I think that's kind of where we want to wrap it up. And I think on our next one, we should probably start off talking about assets.
Oh, we should.
And
it could be a whole video.
We'll go deep into that. Guys at home, you should tell us what you want us to talk about. Let us know down in the comments. Let us know if we suck at this. I would love to know. I like to improve myself, or I could tell you to go screw yourself.
I want to stay the same. I have no room for growth.
In the comments and take it all personally.
You hurt my feelings. Thanks for tuning in today, guys. LOSTT.
Chris Taylor.
And we're out.
Peace.